Good day, good day, good day, and welcome, y'all. Let's call this Studio C. How about that? We are in Studio C today. Yes, we are. Good day, Tim. Good day, Wayne. It's good to see you all. I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday. So welcome to Morning Sip. I am Rev Melissa, and SIP is Spirit in Practice, where we get to practice, right, Lindsay? We get to practice because the perfection is in the practice. It is in the practice. Yes, Nan, it's good to see you. So we are continuing our parable series. And similar to yesterday, we're going to do a sip of a sip. We're going to do our best. We're going to do our best because I'm in this conference that I shared yesterday. And it was wonderful, but it was long. 7 hours on Zoom is no joke, y'all. It's no joke. So today I'm going to do better. I'm going to stand up more often. Like I'm going to set like timers, like a half-hour timer to stand up. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're in our parable series, continuing from last week, Linda, and we are, what parable did I do yesterday? Oh, the parable of the cloth and the wineskin. Yes, I love that parable, right? Because it's all about our thinking, right? What we are putting in our minds, right? Can't use old stuff, that old limiting beliefs, right? Not if you want new stuff. So to take away from that, I wrote this down. Am I willing to change my old ways of thinking? Am I willing to change my old ways of thinking? Right? If you want some new wine that's going to be good, you got to put it in new wine skins, right? That consciousness of new wine skins. All right now. All right. So today, I want to just set the tone before I read the parable. And so I'm referencing again the book by Irvin Seal, Learn to Live, a New Thought Interpretations of the Parables. And this is what I want to highlight because it has to do with yesterday's parable. You know what? It has to do with everything. It has to do with everything because it's about the mind. And so this is what he says. The mind is always creating, whether for good or for ill. It is never still. But if we do not manage our own minds, they will be managed by the atmospheres and forces around us. If we do not feed our own minds constructive ideas, then the suggestions and intimidations of our environment may feed our minds negative ideas. By the creative law of the mind, these come to fruit as well as the affirmative ones. So whatever you put up in there, it's going to bear fruit. It's going to bear fruit, right? Yes. So you could plant the seeds yourself that are constructive, or you could allow the world around you to do the planting and see what comes forth, right? So keep that in mind as I share this parable. So this is the parable of the storm runner. Late one night, a man in a black hat got caught in a storm. He trudged through the heavy rain, getting soaked while trying to find a train station. Waiting for the train, he saw two men talking. "I'm going to walk," the short man said to the tall man, but he made no moves towards the exit. Eventually, the short man convinced the reluctant tall man that the two of them should walk together, and they left. A long while later, there was an announcement inside the station. No more trains, too much flooding. No more trains, too much flooding. Along with the others, the man in the black hat exited the station and was surprised to discover that the short man and the tall man were standing outside, still talking about walking home. The man in the black hat started walking, then took a deep breath, clapped his hands twice, and started running through the storm towards home. Past all the taxis that were already occupied, past all the people who were huddled under flimsy awnings with garbage bags draped over their heads, past all the couples taking shelter underneath constructing scaffolding, past all the people frozen in place in indecision, past all the impromptu umbrella stands. Fully clothed and drenched to the bone, he arrived home in less than 10 minutes, which was much less time than he spent waiting for the train that never came. Relieved, he hung his clothes up to dry and went to bed with a smile, thinking about the two men who were probably still talking about walking home. That's a good one, Gladys, right? The parable of the storm runner. So, as some of you may know, I put out a challenge last week for you all to create your own parable, something that resonates with you. It could be from your own life, right? And create a parable around that. And so far, 3 people have submitted their parables. And the person who submitted the parable that I just read is about to pop right up on this screen right after this drum roll. Right after. Yeah.
That was so fun. Hearing you read my story, that was so fun. It's the first time I've heard it out loud, literally. Then what happened? Like it wasn't my fault. Like what happened after that? What's going to happen?
Yes, the Storm Runner. Nan said Storm Runner, great name. Yes. All right, say cool. So the parables have the literal meaning and the deeper meaning. So tell us, Storm Runner, what is the lesson that you wanted to express through that parable?
So I ended up having a bunch of lessons and I couldn't really decide. So I kind of made a list. So I'm going to just run through them quickly and then maybe we could circle back. So I didn't write this first, but the one that seems like it should be first is focus on what you have control over. The next one, self-reliance is better than trusting your fate to others. Don't let circumstances dictate your actions.
Yes.
Don't give in to analysis paralysis. Waiting for things to change often makes things worse. And then my favorite, choosing the hardest path often has the biggest reward.
All right, so let's unpack that. So, self-reliance is better than trusting your faith to others.
Yeah, so for me, that happened in a lot of ways in that experience, right? So I thought for a minute about what I was going to do, and then I decided to go to the trains, right? So I wasn't thinking about the fact that I'm relying on the train system to be functional. I just went. But as I was there, I started thinking about it. As I was listening to those 2 guys talk about taking matters into their own hands, I was like, maybe I should be taking matters into my own hands. And I was like, nah, I'm going to chill. I'm going to wait for this train, right? So I literally made that decision to not take matters into my own hands. And so I was surprised to see them outside still talking about it, standing on the scaffolding, still talking about it. And I was like, okay, they made the decision and then they changed their minds. They couldn't get past the rain to really do something. And so that is what made me start to walk immediately. Just seeing them still there, I was like, oh, they changed their minds one way. I'm going to change my mind the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going to start moving now. But it wasn't until I got a couple blocks in that I was like, you know what? I've been training for this. Like I've really been training for this. I can do this. I that's not what I thought immediately. I walked 2 blocks in the rain. I was like, but I've run through this before. You know what I'm saying? I've run this distance before. There's no way that I'm not prepared for this. And I literally clapped my hands twice. That wasn't like some editorial device. I had to like get myself hyped. I'd be like, let's go. Let's go, Sekou. Let's go. And then I took off. And then all the other things just clicked into place. All the other lessons were happening as I was seeing it.
Yes. Yes. Right. And it's so what I read from the book a few minutes ago. What are you feeding your mind? Right. So while you're in the train station waiting for the train, what were you feeding your mind?
Yeah, I'm gonna chill. I'm not going back out there in that rain. I'm already wet. I'm gonna read this book. I was literally reading the book that you just held up about the parable. I was like, let me read about these parables right quick. I was even thinking, let me read about the parable so I can write my parable. But I wasn't thinking this was the parable though.
Yes.
That's not what I was thinking. But I was like, let me read my parable book. They tripping. They about to go out there in that storm. They tripping. Let me see here.
Right. Yeah. And what happened, right? It's, oh my goodness, it's so powerful because you were having an instant, it was happening in real time.
Yes.
What you were feeding your mind was happening in real time. Yep. Right? Because then you get outside and the two guys are still standing there.
Still having the same conversation. Now, I should emphasize, it's been like 15 minutes. Like they left a long time ago, not a few minutes ago, a long time. I was like, wow, they're still stuck in this? And I was like, so my instant knee-jerk then was, I'm not going to be stuck. Yeah. I'm not going to be stuck. I know that. I'm not going to be stuck like them, still trying to think about what to do. So I started walking immediately because they were stuck. And if they hadn't still been there and been stuck, I might have stayed stuck a bit. But seeing them stuck, I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yes, yes. Again, what were you feeding your mind? What were you feeding your mind, right? And then as you start to run, what are you feeding your mind?
Yeah. And the food got better. In terms of feeding the mind, the food got better. Because when I started running, I was, oh, I got this. Oh, I got this. Yeah, get out the way. Get out the way. People were clearing the path. Jaws were dropping. Like, it was like a movie. Like, oh my God, what is he? Like all these reactions. It was great. It was great. Yeah. I ran my second fastest mile ever under those circumstances, which is incredible. Faster than regular miles when I'm out there with my gym clothes on. Like, yeah, I got into it. Yeah. Because I've been training for it.
So the other one that I want to unpack with you is don't let circumstances dictate your actions.
Yeah.
Because we do that.
Yeah. And that's the one that I feel like the muscle I have exercised the most by choosing to run outside for the charity run. Because when I started, I went inside. I was like, let me run these indoor laps. But I made a conscious choice to get outside and to continue running outside no matter what the weather is, which has put me in a position of running through storms, thunderstorms, on ice, through snow, through sleet, all the things. And so I'm practicing with my physical body not being deterred by circumstances. Because if you let yourself be deterred by circumstances, then they always lead the way. Like you change your whole plans because of what's happening out there, not what's happening in here.
Yeah. And right. The circumstance is if we allow ourselves to go within our inner circumstance, instead of being guided by our external circumstances, we will experience the life that we really, really want to experience. We really would. So I love that one. And it's so in alignment with what I read. If we do not feed our own minds constructive ideas, then the suggestions and the intimidations from our environment may feed our minds negative ideas. So you could have stayed right there with those two guys.
Yeah. With everyone from the train. Because when they made the announcement, we all went up. We were all like, "Oh wait, we're all confused, trying to figure it out." But it was a mass exodus, so we all caught up with the two guys who left 15 minutes ago, and everyone just gathered underneath the same scaffolding. And I was like, "Nah." Only one person walked away.
Yeah,
that would be me.
Yeah. So that leads to focusing on what you have control over. Because if you could stop the hurricane, if you could stop the flood waters, then that's something. But you can't. You have no control over Mother Nature.
Right.
So focusing on what you have control over.
Yeah. And what I have control over is me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I realized after a bit that I had been prepared for this because I've been practicing. And so, yeah, I can choose to exercise control over me. And so it felt good taking matters into my own control. Like I waited for a train at least 2 times the time that it took me to get home. Even more than that, really, because I got home in less than 10 minutes and I've been waiting for the train for a half hour.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I felt great. And then what I want to say on top of that is everyone responded to this story, not everyone, but almost everyone responded to this story on social media as if it was a woe is me story. I was telling a woe is me story. People are like, "Oh, are you okay? I'm sorry that happened to you." What are you talking about? You see my smile in this photo? Like I am falling out of control. Like what? I'm like, this is a hype story. I actually reposted it because I got tired of people giving me the woe is me thing. And I was like, listen, I reposted it and I put out a notice to say I reposted this story with the proper emphasis so that you understand that this is not a pity party. This is a success story. This is about me pushing my limits, taking matters into my own hands, and triumphing.
Yeah.
This ain't no pity party. I know everyone else was telling a pity party. I know, but that's not what I'm doing. Yeah. And so we're so conditioned to listening for the pity party, they thought that that's what I was doing too. It's like, nah, I'm good. I'm home chilling.
Yeah, because we're so conditioned to feeding that to our minds, right? Mm-hmm. We feed the stuff that we feed ourselves from the external world, right? Is looking for the negative, usually, what's wrong, right? Hyper exaggeration of circumstances a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
So we can focus on what we have control over, and what we have control over is what we feed our minds.
Yeah. And if you focus on what you have control over, you automatically stop catastrophizing. You know what I'm saying? Like the catastrophe becomes reduced. Like, yeah, there's a lot of water, but you focus on what you can do to get home, and then all that stuff, it fades. Like,
But you see how it becomes a feeding frenzy?
Yeah. Yeah, because and it's so much you getting me hyped now. You getting me hyped. I gotta turn the AC back on. Listen. So much so that one of my friends from college responded to the post and was like, "Oh, my brother-in-law, he had problems too." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't have any problems." I don't talk about it. And we went back and forth commenting on the same thing. And she didn't get what I was saying. I was like, no. My story is not that. I am not saying, "Oh, the storm was awful. I got caught in it." So, yeah, it becomes a feeding frenzy, as you say. And it's automatic.
Yes.
Even with me trying to push her to a different place, it didn't work.
Yeah. So the practice in all of this is to stay aware of what you are allowing to enter into your consciousness, because it's going to have an impact on what you do next or what you don't do next, right? I could just imagine all those people underneath the awning, right?
So many people.
Because other people were underneath the awning.
Yeah. All the way here. Like so many people, like under things that you can't even call awnings. Like because it's Manhattan. It's like little ledges.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huddled up under the edge of the ledge.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is good, Sekou. This is good. And your last one that I have on my sheet is don't give in to analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, I love this. Unpacking the stories. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, analysis paralysis, because they gave into analysis paralysis. They made a decision, and then they went upstairs, and then they got locked in analysis paralysis. I could hear it just from what I could overhear from their conversation. Well, now they're looking at how wet it is and how much it's raining, and now they're like, oh well, maybe this, maybe that, maybe taxi, maybe Uber, maybe So that is taking up even more time. They waited for the train longer than I have because they were there when I got there. And now they're adding more time on thinking about what to do.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that spurred me to action, which initially was just to start walking, just start moving. Like I was originally thinking, to be honest, I'm going to move from awning to awning and just move my way that way. And then I was like, nah, I got this.
Yeah. And what analysis paralysis can do oftentimes is keep us stuck.
Yes.
Keep us stuck. So sometimes just taking that first step, to shift the energy, to shake it up a little bit, gets us home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Right. And who knows? And I saw stories later about people spending the night in the train station. And, I don't know how far they had to go. Like, obviously, I was able to get myself home in 10 minutes, so I didn't have that far to go. But there might have been something else they could do if they didn't get stuck in analysis paralysis, if they took the onus of doing what they could control, working on what they could control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just speaking for me, though. I'm just speaking for me. I did what I could do. I took control back to myself, and it felt amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. And to your point, maybe for those folks who decided to do that, to stay, that was the best choice for them, right. Given their circumstances. Right. So we all have the opportunity to see what works, what is going to be the best way for us to move, not based on what everybody else is doing or how everybody else is moving, right? But what can I control? All the information that I have, how can I make the best decisions for me, right? What are you feeding your mind? So that's a question for all of us to answer, right? What am I feeding my mind today? What am I feeding my mind today? All right, y'all. So that's one. We're going to do another one. Thank you so much, Sekou. I love the Storm Runner parable. Wasn't it fabulous, y'all? So if you're feeling left out of the party, you can still do your parable. And I bet you every single day, there is something that happens in your life that you can create a parable around. Guaranteed. All right. So tomorrow, stay tuned for the next parable from another person from the Congregation of Joy that submitted their parable. This is so exciting for me, y'all. Yes. So getting some shout outs there. Sekou, great story, very inspiring. Lindsay, excellent sip. Thank you, y'all. All right, well, more to come tomorrow. So let's get into some joy news. So Monday, I didn't share joy news yesterday because I was whatever. So Monday, Meditation with the Moon. We had a fabulous time with Meditation with the Moon on Monday. So I want to give a shout out. So we do Meditation with the Moon twice a month, the new moon and on the full moon at 4 a.m. Eastern time. So shout out to Julian, Nan, Sekou, Pastor Al, Jill, Joe, and Margaret. Thank y'all for joining me for Meditation with the Moon. So we do a full spiritual practice. I shared a wonderful story. It was kind of sort of a parable, kind of sort of not, about the elephant and the dog. It's a Hindu story, great story. And we use that story as part of our spiritual practice and the meditation and our writing. And then we had our after party on Zoom. And that's where it really went down, y'all. It really went down in the after party. So shout out to Nan, Julian, and Sekou for hanging in there, because it was probably close to 5 by that time, and coming on Zoom so we could just talk and share and just get into it, just really get into how the whole process was for us, what was coming up, insights, and it was just beautiful, y'all. So I am really enjoying our after parties after meditating with the moon. So please save the date, because the next meditation with the moon is a full moon, and it is the harvest moon. So that is on Monday, September 20th, 4 a.m. Eastern time. All right, 4 a.m. Eastern time. And I'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. And then this Sunday, Living Life in Joy. Now, if you missed last Sunday's Living Life in Joy, Sekou was the host, and we had a celebrity guest, Keith Major, the celebrity photographer. He just shot Jennifer Hudson, y'all. All right. So that was awesome. That was so epic. It was so epic. And they did an amazing job with each other. And they have a project that they're working on together, Sekou and Keith Major. So please check that out. The first story from the project is available on Amazon. Sekou, what is it called again?
So what's available on Amazon is called Belinda's Vaccine. Belinda's Vaccine. And you can also find it by searching for Keith Major or Sekou Rice. And the easiest way is to just type off both of our names. Keith Major, Sekou Rice is the only thing that comes up is Belinda's Vaccine. And it's only $1.97. It's less than $2. So check it out.
Yeah. So check that out. Check out Keith's work, because it's just amazing. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing. And we went to see Respect when we was in Martha's Vineyard. We took the girls to see it. It was great. She did an amazing job. It's just, and I just been listening to Aretha. If you don't know, some of you think Prince is my number one. Aretha Franklin is my number one, and Prince is my number 2. So wonderful. Jennifer, shout out to you, because you did the damn thing, girl. You did it. So Living Life in Joy this weekend, this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Please join me for Living Life in Joy. And I think that's all I'm going to share. We're at 29 minutes in, so let me jump off. Thank you, Sekou, again for that wonderful parable, The Storm Runner. I hope that you all received the lesson in that, and that you can apply it to your life, right? What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your mind? Yes? All right. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for the next parable from Congregation of Joy. Peace and blessings, peace and justice. We're living life in joy. Yes, we are. Yes, we are connected to our yes.